If you ask me which Nintendo Switch games give you the most value for your money, PGs are always near the top of the list. This is the genre where I can sit down for what feels like one quick session, then suddenly realize half my day is gone. The best part is, the right RPG does not just last a long time, it stays fun the whole way through. You keep getting stronger, unlocking new systems, meeting great characters, and finding fresh reasons to keep going. For this list, I am talking about Nintendo Switch RPGs that can easily keep you busy for 100+ hours without feeling repetitive or draining. These are the games I keep thinking about, even when I am not playing. Some are huge story-driven adventures, some are all about exploration and progression, and some just have that dangerous one more hour feeling. Let's get into it. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is one of those RPGs that feels massive in the best possible way. From the start, I was hooked by the world, the music, and the scale of everything. This game gives you huge areas to explore, giant creatures roaming around, and a combat system that keeps opening up the more you play. That is a big reason it stays fresh for so long. Even after dozens of hours, I was still unlocking new classes, trying new team setups, and learning better ways to handle fights. The story is also a huge part of why I never got bored. Noah, Mio, and the rest of the cast feel important, and the emotional moments really land. Then you add all the side quests, hero quests, class progression, and post-game content, and this game just keeps going. It is the kind of RPG where 100 hours does not sound crazy at all. Honestly, if you love big adventures on Switch, this is one of the easiest recommendations I can make. Persona 5 Royal is one of the smoothest, most stylish RPGs I have ever played, and it is dangerously easy to lose track of time in it. What makes it so addictive for me is how it mixes two different experiences so well. On one side, you have turn-based dungeon crawling with great combat, demon collecting, and smart strategy. On the other side, you have daily life stuff like building friendships, going around Tokyo, studying, working jobs, and choosing how to spend your time. That loop is so strong that I always felt like I was making progress, even during quieter moments. Then when you jump back into a palace or mementos, the combat and team building pull you right back in. The characters are another huge reason this game lasts. You really get attached to the Phantom Thieves. By the time the story gets deep into its biggest twists, you are all in. Persona 5 Royal is a long game, but it earns that length. It stays fun because there is always something meaningful to do.
You're mine. What?
All according to plan.
The Witcher 3 on Nintendo Switch is still one of the most impressive ports I have ever seen, and beyond the technical side, it is just an unbelievable RPG to sink time into. Playing as Geralt never gets old because the world around him is packed with things worth doing. Main quests are great, sure, but the side quests are where this game really becomes special. Even random contracts and smaller stories can feel more interesting than full storylines in other games. What keeps me locked in for so long is the variety. One minute I am hunting a monster, the next I am helping someone in a village. Then I am deep into Gwent, and suddenly hours are gone. The complete edition makes this even better because the expansions add so much amazing content. The world feels alive, dangerous, and unpredictable, and that makes exploring fun even after a very long time. If you want an RPG on Switch that feels rich, mature, and packed with value, this one can absolutely carry you past 100 hours. Dragon Quest XI S is the kind of RPG that reminds me why classic turn-based adventures still work so well. It has that old-school heart, but it feels polished and modern enough to stay engaging for a really long time. The world is bright, charming, and full of personality, and the cast is one of my favorite parts of the whole experience. Spending time with these characters never feels like filler. They make the long journey feel worth it. What I love most is how comfortable this game is to play. It has a relaxed flow, but it also keeps rewarding you with new towns, new enemies, big story turns, and strong late-game content. It starts out simple, then slowly grows into something much bigger than you expect. That is where the 100-hour value really kicks in, between crafting, side content, exploration, character building, and the huge amount of story. This game keeps feeding you reasons to continue. It is one of the easiest RPGs on Switch to just live in for a while. Skyrim is one of those games I have bought too many times, and somehow I still understand why people keep going back to it. On Nintendo Switch, it is such an easy game to get lost in because the freedom is the whole point. You can follow the main story, ignore it completely, become a thief, a mage, a warrior, or just wander into caves for hours and still feel like you are making progress. That freedom is what keeps the game interesting past the 100-hour mark. You are constantly getting distracted, but in a good way. You start heading toward one objective, then suddenly you are fighting a dragon, clearing a dungeon, picking up new gear, and finding another quest line that pulls you in. I also think the world still has a special atmosphere. Snowy mountains, dark ruins, strange characters, and that music all work together perfectly. Skyrim is not just long, it is replayable in a way few RPGs are. Even after so much time, it still feels like there is always one more adventure waiting. Monster Hunter Rise is a game that can completely take over your free time once it clicks, and for me that click happened fast. The big reason it stays fun for 100+ hours is simple. Every hunt feels like progress. You are always crafting better gear, learning monster patterns, trying new weapons, and chasing that next upgrade. Even when you fight the same monster again, it does not feel exactly the same because your skill level and strategy keep changing. The weapon variety is a huge part of the fun too. You can spend dozens of hours mastering one weapon, then switch to another, and suddenly the game feels new again. Add multiplayer into the mix, and it gets even more addictive. Jumping into hunts with friends or random players keeps the pace strong and makes grinding feel way less repetitive. Rise also moves faster than older Monster Hunter games, which I really like on Switch. It feels smooth, snappy, and easy to keep picking up. If you love progression-heavy RPG systems, this game can easily become an obsession. Fire Emblem Three Houses is one of my favorite strategy RPGs on Nintendo Switch because it gives you a lot more than just battles. The combat is excellent, of course, with smart turn-based strategy that keeps you thinking, but what really pulled me in was everything around it. Teaching students, building relationships, choosing your house, and watching the story shift based on your decisions gives the game a lot of long-term staying power. This is one of those RPGs where I got attached to the characters fast. That matters a lot in a game like this because when a battle starts, you actually care about who is on the field. Then once the bigger political story starts opening up, it becomes really hard to stop. Another big reason this game lasts so long is replay value. Picking a different house changes a lot, so one run does not feel like enough. If you want to see everything, you are easily looking at well over 100 hours. For me, that mix of strategy, storytelling, and character bonding makes it one of the most replayable RPGs on the system.
Should I have held back?
I'm on it.
Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition is the kind of RPG that feels built for players who love huge worlds and endless things to do. What instantly stands out is Mira itself. This world feels enormous, wild, and full of mystery. Just exploring it is already enough to keep me invested for hours because there's always something strange on the horizon, some giant creature nearby, or some new area begging to be checked out. The scale is a huge reason this game can last forever without getting boring. You are not just doing story missions, you are exploring, taking on side side content, building your team, improving your gear, and slowly becoming more powerful in a world that feels genuinely dangerous. Then once the bigger systems open up, especially with movement and combat progression, the game gets even harder to put down. I also love how different it feels compared to other RPGs on Switch. It leans more into exploration and player freedom, and that gives it a very strong identity. If you want a giant sci-fi RPG that can completely absorb your time, this is an easy pick.
Unfortunate, but if you insist.
Assault hammer! I'll blast a hole right through him!
First down!
Rising
Berlin, what do you say?
So yeah, if you are looking for Nintendo Switch RPGs that can keep you busy for 100 plus hours without wearing you out, these are easily some of the best choices out there. They all offer something different, but every single one has that special quality where you sit down to play for a bit and end up staying way longer than planned. For me, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Persona 5 Royal, and Fire Emblem. Three Houses are the ones I can jump back into almost any time, but honestly, every game on this list is worth your time. If you are building your Switch RPG collection, you really cannot go wrong with these.